What is up, everybody, and welcome back. And in this video we're going to continue on from our last video, so we're going to go and finish collecting them leaves at that property. We've also got another job that we need to do, and potentially a third if we have time, but I'm not sure. But if we can squeeze it in, that would be brilliant, guys. So we're at the yard now. We've got to unload the trailer because I didn't actually work yesterday because down in the south the weather was atrocious. It was raining all day up until about maybe 3 o'clock. I wasn't actually out in the van, which wasn't ideal, so I wasn't working in the van. However, you know, I did a bit of admin, put some quotes together, caught up on some other bits, as you do on a rainy day. Just want to thank everyone for 500 subscribers, and also everyone that comments, likes and supports. I really appreciate it. Keep all the support and comments coming. I'm learning a lot from you guys and you're helping me along my journey, so thank you. Another thing I've just thought about is using this decommissioned bag to cover my logs, so I'm going to cut that up and get them all covered up. So it's not perfect, I'm sure it'll keep some rain off. So guys, I didn't empty the trailer all the way because, well, it's only going to all go back on there to get taken up to Eco. But we've probably got another load, so that's probably a job for this week too. Also, something else I want to mention, guys. There might have been a little bit of a confusion in my last video because I said I wanted to start doing a little bit more for myself moving into next year. But obviously in my visions video, I sort of said something different. So I want to expand upon that, guys, because sort of what I was meaning is sort of moving into the first quarter of 2024, I want to be doing more for myself. Getting the business in a prepared state to then be able to, take the people on and do the bigger work and the bigger jobs. So that's sort of a little bit of confusion there, guys. I should have explained it better, so there's that. Hope that's all covered up. Also, guys, in regards to Leon, he is still keen. He does still want to work for me and that sort of thing. I've just been giving him a bit of time off over Christmas and been trying to manage the workload alone. Obviously, with the shorter dates, that's been a massive limiting factor for me. So I've been trying to make it work and juggle it about. But let's get up to that first job and get some leaves collected. So here we are, guys. Clean up to start off with. I have also quoted for that to get all chopped and maintained because that'll be a lovely hedge once that's given a nice cut and given a lovely finish. But we're going to start work on the leaves. Progress update number 1. We got all this area looking absolutely lovely, just a couple of weeds at the back and a little pile to collect, which I'll do that at the end now. So I'm going to move on to quickly blowing the grass to get the majority of the leaves, and then I'm going to mow the grass, a couple of nitpicky bits, and we'll be out with it on to the next one. done for this first job, and well, that time lapse speaks for itself. The results are absolutely phenomenal. Over the moon with these ones, guys, and I think the customer's going to be too. So we've also just given the front a quick little blow again, so the whole place is looking lovely, and hopefully we'll be back in the spring for a clean up, and I believe this customer's going to be on my maintenance round next year, so yeah, good going. Right guys, so in today's talking point we've got a little bit of a controversial one. So, do you work alone or do you work with people? Because that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about staff versus working alone. Because having someone with you can be a massive aid, but it can also be the biggest headache you've ever had. It's brilliant, it's nice to have the help, but managing people can be a big headache, especially if you're managing more than one people. I've done a couple of big landscaping jobs where I've had like 3-4 boys on with me. Oof. It can get a bit challenging, especially if you're not picking the boys right. It can be, I say boys, but we're in 2023, aren't we? So I probably should say girls as well. You know, gender neutral and all that. Back to the talking point. Because for me personally, guys, I prefer having someone out with me. Obviously, not every day it can be like that. Some days I'm doing a lot of yard work and that sort of thing. And, you know, when I'm doing yard work, I'm not being paid myself. So I can't have someone with me. Because it's so nice to have someone by your side and next to you, innit, guys? It speeds up the process. It makes the job a lot easier. You know, you can sort of pick and choose the tasks you want to do a little bit. So you're doing the brute of the labour. And you're not really having to worry about little clearing ups, little bits and stuff like that, you know. Because I think it's all the little bits, guys, that take up your time. So it's all like the nitpicky bits that take time, you know, guys, like the weeding of beds. It's all the little things. And it's like, well, you're doing like the brute of the work. You can get your little lad out on these jobs, get your worker out, get him doing all these little nitpicky bits while you're doing the brute of the work. Then at the end, you can come together and sort of have one big tidy up and call the job done. That's the way I work anyway, and it seems to work really, really well. You have to pick your workers very, very wisely, guys, because there's no good workers about these days, you know. It's really hard to find good labour. That's what I'm, starting to believe anyway. No one wants to work. That genuinely seems to be the issue these days. No one wants to work. Especially my generation. Like, some of my generation really have no interest, no aspirations, no goals, and I'm just like, what's changed, you know? Like, what's changed? You was a kid with dreams once. Why aren't you following them? But, that's just me, I guess. So, labour can be really hard to get good labour. So, that's sort of, I can see why people would be put off just by that fact alone. Because getting good labour is extremely difficult. Because from my experiences, guys, the people that do want to work and the people that are willing to put the effort in, they already have full-time jobs. They're already in full-time employment. So, it's one of them. It's like, you're sort of just left with the people who aren't in employment. But then, at that point, it's kind of, they're probably not in employment for a reason. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to take that into consideration. And it's hard for a business like me to be able to, sort of pull them people out of their full-time jobs and getting them on with me, because I can't guarantee full-time work sometimes, through the winter and that sort of thing. And I don't want to be, look, mate, I'll give you a job, we can go do this, I'll pay you X amount, and then not have 4 days work for him. You know what I mean? I can't do that to a bloke and potentially put him in a bad situation himself, where he can't provide for his family or something. I really don't want to do that. So that it's such a hard one, guys, and that's why I wanted to jump on it and talk about it today. The thing is, though, guys, there is one thing that you can't deny. If you want to scale your business, you're going to have to deal with the headache, and you're going to have to find the right blokes, and you're going to have to work around it. Because at the end of the day, guys, you're not going to be able to build a fully functioning business on your own. You need help. You need to put your team in place. And you need to get that power team together as quick as possible. You need to find them people that you work well with, that work well with you, that want to grow with your company, So realistically, guys, I want to try and find people who are a bit younger, maybe not know what they want to do with their life, and I want to train them people. I want to get them, I want to train them people, and I want them to see through to the business. Because, guys, when I'm looking for staff, to be completely honest, where my business is fairly fresh, I'm also looking for someone who's maybe younger, someone I can train up, someone I can invest the time into, who's gonna, stick with the company and see it through. Because the last thing I want to do is keep training blokes up, and then they just leave 5 minutes later, because at that point you're just wasting your time, because you spend your time training these people up, and then they're just not appreciative, and then they go and stab you in the back, and then they get a day's work, which is paying £10 a day more, and they get, you know what I mean? It's madness. So what sort of filtering process have you guys put in place to sort of make sure you get the right workers? I'd be really interested to see sort of if you guys have sort of a filtering process, because the next person I take on, to be honest, I'm looking for a driving licence within them, so I can sort of get 2 crews out.
and start working towards my sort of goals within the business. And that's another thing, guys. I want to work towards my goals, but I also want to work towards that person's goals. Do you know what I mean? So if that person comes to me and says, look, Harley, within 5 years, I kind of want to be within here, within my life, and I want to do this, and I'll sit down with that person, I'll go, right, if they're serious, I'll go, right, how can we make that happen for you as well? Because at the end of the day, you need to look after your stuff, because that's what's going to make them, because that means you're not going to have to put up with all the things I've just talked about. They're going to be, you know, if you can prove that you're for them, I think they're going to be for you a bit more. And I think it's our job, guys. I think a lot of people are so easy to blame the workers, but I think sometimes it's the boss's fault. You know, you need to provide a good working environment, because if you're not providing a good working environment for your workers, guys, they're going to be gone. You know, if you don't feel appreciated, that's a big one. If your workers don't feel appreciated, they ain't going to be with you much longer. And I know this, guys, because I've worked a job where I didn't feel like I was quite appreciated as much as I should. And I don't want to be one of them bosses who makes my employees feel underappreciated and that sort of thing, because, you know, everyone that does a bit of work for me, I really, really appreciate them coming out for me for the day. Obviously, talking about staff, guys, is quite a vast topic, and I could probably sit here and talk about it all day. And there's so many twos and fro's, swings and roundabouts. But how do you guys work it if you've got staff? Sort of, are you got full-time, part-time staff? How many staff? Let me know in the comments, because I'm sort of trying to put a plan in place, put a more set in stone, proper plan in place that I can follow for the next sort of 3 years. Because it's all right having ideas, but if you ain't got a plan to follow, then you're stabbing in the dark. And you might be running, but who says you're running in the right direction? So I want to make sure I'm going in the right direction with things, guys. So I just thought I'd give my little 2 cents, ask you for your input and opinions, and let's get another discussion, guys, going, because I'm really enjoying the comments and all the discussions. We'd like to think I'm touching on some quite good and serious points as well, guys. I hope I'm not just talking waffle, although I can sometimes. So that will wrap up today's talking point. I've shared some of my thoughts with you guys. So if you could share sort of how you operate, what roles you dedicate to people within your business and that sort of thing, that would be a massive help. Again, let's get that discussion going and have a chat, guys. But we're at the second job. Let's get a little walk round and get the work done.
But this is the job at hand today, guys. Done for this second job, and I'll probably call it and wrap it up for the day as well, because we're about 20 past 3, so by the time I get home and that, we're going to almost be done. But as you saw by them time lapses, guys, we've got that grass area done, the front garden. We also blew off this bit of grass here, guys. We also re-edged this little flower bed. I will be making my way around all the beds within the coming visits, and slowly, you know, one by one, get them all re-edged and looking fantastic for the customer. We also had a little blow. So I tried to spend like 5 minutes sort of reshaping and making that look a bit more natural, because it was all sort of spilling out into this tree and these other shrubs. So I don't know if I done a good job, if I'm honest. I did it. Right guys, so this customer is a very avid gardener. He really likes to mow the grass and do as much as he can. He sort of just gets me in to clean up the place, get it looking a bit nicer, and sort of do the jobs he don't want to do basically. So that's why I'm sort of a bit here, there and everywhere on this one. Probably done about half a trailer today as well guys. If that was stacked properly, it would be half a load. Also, we did start off with quarter of a van load this morning. So that's pretty much one day's worth of waste. Unfortunately guys, we're not going to be have time for that third job. I really didn't think we was going to be able to anyway. It would have been a real push to get that third job on. But, you know, having the seed in your head of that thought there means it will get done if the time was there. But unfortunately, the time was not there. But let's get back to the yard and get this trailer offloaded. Right guys, I'm back at the yard, and while there is daylight left, I'm going to split some logs. Hopefully I can get through 5 or 6 rounds. So let's get a little time lapse up and let's end our day like that. And you would have had a time lapse guys, but apparently Dopey over here didn't press the record button, so you ain't got one. So we'll do one tomorrow. So apart from me forgetting to press the record button right at the end there, because I set my work area up and then forgot to press the record button and thought I was recording, but I wasn't. Anyway, apart from that, it's been an extremely successful day. So I've got a big grin on my face and I'm really happy. We wrapped up just as the light is starting to fade. But I'm going to wrap this video up there, guys. Please like. Thanks again for 500 subscribers. So hit the subscribe button. And remember, if your garden's looking worse for wear, call Hampshire and Dorset Garden Care. Have a good evening, guys.